Casually finding a huge leak in last week's episode, we want to take no chances with our new home.
Man, I was pissed off. There are a lot of swear words being said that day.
The plan this week is to haul out
I feel like I got my tail between my legs.
and go about fixing the packing and stuffing box 100% before launching again.
I'm gonna cross my fingers that they work. We're not gonna know until we drop in the water. So, after finding the leak yesterday and messaging the marina, they agreed to haul us out literally the next day, which is today. They're just putting one boat in the water at the moment, and we are next up to get hauled out. Not ideal. I feel like most of the boat is looking really good, and when we get hauled out, I can just focus on this one problem, and I'm gonna get this problem 100%, and then we'll be good to go. Not to mention our engine is, well, I've given up. I've contacted the mechanic. He's not replying to me. Maybe just spend our life in the marina. Yeah. But we will get there eventually. Sometime, hopefully this year. Alright, we are go time. It's just getting towed slowly to the position of the cradle. I got wind behind me, which is quite interesting. I hope they can really keep the boat off the rocks and off the land, and they know how to maneuver it into position. Normally it's quite exciting to get hauled out, but this kind of feels like a haul out of defeat, to be honest. I feel like I got my tail between my legs, you know, just like... And that is it. The boys are just putting in the supports. I'm gonna go home and lick my wounds, I think. Woo. Bright and early this morning, hair's still wet. Welcome back to another little day on the heart. Oh, I'm over them. I'm really done with them. Let's get up on the boat. Let's go have a look at this. Rudder packing. Okay, ACs are running. The boat is cooling down for me to work in it, thank goodness. Because I don't think I could survive in the heat like I have done in the past. I don't know, I'm just getting a bit more fragile as time goes on the hard. So let's talk about what we're doing today. Obviously we have a leak coming through the rudder and the rudder shaft. I will slowly take away the existing 2 layers of packing and I'll be starting fresh. I did have some old packing lying around which I bought, but I've ordered 2 more meters just in case. I don't want to be short when it comes to this job, and I want to get it done quickly and seamlessly so we can get back in the water soon. That's kind of the idea for the day. So to get to our rudder quadrant, we have to bring up our bed. It's a little bit of a task, especially with one person, but gotta do it. So we've got one pole up here. I'm gonna put a second prop up. So here is our rudder quadrant. We have our earth, our rudder quadrant which is connected to the shaft of the rudder. We have our autopilot drive which is also connected to the quadrant. We have our 2 steering cables, 1 and 2, So basically, to remove everything, we're going to be removing 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, and then there's 4 bolts that connect the quadrant together. They're all going to come apart now. Okay, so now the rudder quadrant has been removed. Now we have the rudder stock here, and this is our packing nut. Basically underneath this nut is the packing, the 2 layers of packing, where there's actually meant to be 3. I'm going to remove it now. I don't know if you can see it, but in there, this white stuff, that is the packing. I'm going to go about removing both of them and starting again. Okay, so this is the bottom layer of the packing coming out now. That's it there. So what's happening is that this thread on the inside here has ground down over the years, I believe. So when you put 3 layers of packing in here and you try and get your nut on, basically it grabs on the top, but when you tighten it up it just goes loose. And then you grabs a little bit again and then goes loose again. So I'm gonna give it another crack. Alright, 2 days later, the other day I can't remember where I stopped filming, but man, I was pissed off. There are a lot of swear words being said that day. I was kind of my own worst enemy, to be honest. I had a very experienced shipwright come and say, oh, you should just rip out your whole stuffing box, rip out your rudder, start again. We felt like any moment we could go sailing and cruise and enjoy life, and for somebody to tell me that we're going to be here another 3-4 months, I was losing my shit. Today I am back. I had a little bit of motivation talk from my family. I'm just going to persevere with this stuffing box. I've got my new packing in, which I'm really happy about. So it means I can try multiple different times and fail and just go and cut some new packing and keep going with the whole job and not get too frustrated that I can't continue. My new idea is to remove everything again, start over. In the bottom of the stuffing box there is a smaller kind of area for the packing to go into. So my new theory is to put the 6x6 packing, the smaller packing, in the bottom of the stuffing box and then put 2 layers on top, and hopefully that will bring down the section where the packing nut goes on, and I can actually get some thread on the packing nut and thread on the boat, and it will screw down and tighten down. Trying to take my time. I'm going to try and be cool and calm and collected and not lose my shit.
Slowly hammering the packing down, I really want to push it to the bottom of the stuffing box. This will ensure a good seal.
So this is my little tool which I use to tighten up the nut. It just came with the boat. It's a bit dodgy, but it does the job. As I try and screw it up, it's somewhat tight, but you want it to be really grabbing. You want it really tight. As I push more, it just completely comes out, just like now it's loose. So this is the problem which I've been having. This thread here does not grab in the thread in here. So one of the jobs which I had to do was the anti-foul while the boat was out of the water over the last 12 months. We had a contractor do it, and since we've been in the water for 3 weeks, maybe a month, a lot of rust we've seen has been coming out of the anti-foul, and I've talked to the contractor and he's going to come right over today and fix it up. I'm a bit confused about how it's come out because they grinded back to the bare steel of the keel and they took the anti-foul back to the gel coat, so they really went back a fair way. So I'm a little bit confused to how this has happened, but I'm really interested to see exactly what it's going to look like and what the problem is underneath this kind of rust stain, which it goes between I believe the seam of the keel and the attachment of the boat. So in between that little seam there's a rust stain, which isn't good. So a little bit of an update just here on the keel. The local workers here have cut away, there must have been a bunch of rust underneath the paint, I don't know for sure, I need to talk to them. They've cut a big seam not only on this side but also on the other side, so I can only assume that they're going to re-fiberglass it and then do another little bit anti-foul around it. It's looking good, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. Okay, so not sure where I was up to, but I'll just give you a brief summary of the whole job which I've done in here. After a lot of cursing, swearing and ups and downs, I have got 3 layers of packing in my stuffing box. The bottom layer is 6x6, a little bit small. The middle layer is 8x8, that's the proper size. And the top layer is 6x6, that is a little bit small. But with these 3 layers, I can get the packing nut on and I can screw it down quite tight. I have now put the rudder quadrant back on, I've put the autopilot ram back on, and the steering cables, they're all back on. The plan is we're going to launch in a couple days, we have to wait for the right tide, but the plan is we're going to launch, there's going to be a leak. It's highly likely there's going to be a leak, but I have got recommendations of people that I should back off the nut and then retighten it. If that doesn't work, take the nut out, take the top layer off, put the nut back in and tighten the 2 bottom layers real tight as I can go. Take the top nut off again, and maybe I might get an 8mm packing in the top third layer. So there's a few little tricks which I'm going to try this time, which I didn't know about last time, and I'm going to cross my fingers that they work. So yeah, again, we're not going to know until we drop in the water. If you want to get access to patron-only videos while also supporting us in a big way, please become a patron of Sailing Merryweather by clicking the link in the description. You'll be supporting us in making these videos the best they can be.